网构筑金融数字化网络底座。
Huawei Financial Cloud Network Solution, ideal for digital financial networks. We have global financial customers, research institutions, and partners who will give you great tech show today. Executives of Huawei Datacom product line will present the latest technologies and solutions. Leading banks will share technological innovations and industry best practices and discuss the latest network technologies in the financial industry. Today's conference is also attended by industry organizations, experts, scholars, business leaders, and ecosystem partners. Let's give them a big round of applause. Welcome. The financial industry is changing rapidly, moving towards digitalization and intelligence. Digital technologies are also changing people's work and life. Digitalization and intelligence are reshaping finance and customer experience. So let's kick off today's discussion with the president of Huawei Datacom product line, Kevin Hu. Welcome. Distinguished guests, dear friends, good afternoon. A big warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for showing up today. We've been waiting for it for a long time. During the pandemic years, we couldn't organize offline events, so it's great to see you. And I'd like to thank you for your support to Huawei. In particular, I want to thank all of our friends in the banking sector. Bank of China, CCB, ICBC, PSBC, Union Pay, and Shenzhen Stock Exchange, Shanghai Stock Exchange, Guotai Junan Securities, Haitong Securities, Hanchang, China Merchant Bank, Ping An Corporation, and many more. We also have the CTO of Itaú, Augusto, the largest bank in Brazil, in Latam, with us today. I'm sure you hope to hear Huawei's views on the network for finance industry, our investment strategies, and roadmap. This morning, in the keynote, I delivered a brief presentation and presented 7 of our solutions. They are part of what's to come. As you have seen in the past 3 years, despite complex circumstances, we've been committed to customer centricity. Under extreme scenarios, we still delivered continuous supply to our customers. Even our supply was better and faster than our counterparts in the industry. We have 10,000 engineers within Huawei who are dedicated to technologies and to using technologies to enable industries. This has always been our strategy. We always seek to make breakthroughs in technologies, to innovate, to create value to our customers. This is our soul. In the future, the finance sector will be one of the most important sectors. And this sector has a strong demand for technologies, a demand for technological innovations to improve productivity and to reduce end-to-end costs. I know a lot of friends in this sector. We have a lot of cooperation. Our investment strategy for this sector has always been very clear. In routing, switching, campus, security, across the board. Over the past 4 or 5 years, we've gained more and more understanding of the scenarios in this sector. But it's still not enough. Therefore, we are still humble and learning from our customers to understand what is Bank 3.0, what is 4.0, and what's going to happen in 5.0, how the industry is changing. We'll continue to learn from all of you, and I hope that all of you can share more of your feedbacks and comments to Huawei colleagues, to our experts. We're not perfect. We're not the best. We're not perfect in everything, but our goal is to help you roll out rock-solid foundation, digital infrastructure to support better business systems. Many of you are network directors, and in this sector, this is a difficult job. The workload probably doubles every 3 years, and you probably don't have the ability to ask for manpower, and you're often the one that people complain to. So we understand the difficulty of this. In this industry, to realize digitalization, we have to deploy automation. There are lots of organizations that haven't deployed SDN, but this is crucially important. We need to go from a traditional network to SDN because the management of third-party devices and even using ACI to manage Huawei devices, these are all possible. In Hong Kong last year, we made history where within 4 hours, we completed a smooth migration of the installed base. If you work in network domain, you know that this kind of migration involving controllers is incredibly complex, but now it's possible. I've met with a CIO of a bank that talked to me about open banking, but they didn't even have SDN. You see, the gap between our goals, our dreams, and reality need to be filled. But that's not enough. Automation is not enough. We still need visualization. We need proactive O&M. Therefore, based on telemetry technology, based on big data, analytics, we've done a lot of work in visualize and intelligent O&M. With orchestration capability, we launched the digital map solution. Digital map, network digital map, is a leading solution in the routing domain and in DCN domain. It's already been launched since MWC this year. In Q3 this year, in campus domain, digital map will become available. So for all the network directors, when you face so much pressure from business, how can you discover and fix issues in advance? This will be a great tool. Behind this solution, there are so many technologies, like temporal database, deep neural network, etc. Of course, it is not perfect, and we are still iterating the solutions. Many customers see such a solution for the first time, and they're very impressed. We need to go from SCN to fully digital O&M. This is a determined strategy. I heard someone famous talking about telemetry a few years ago, where this person said that it's going to take another 10 years for it to be applied. But I don't think that's true. We've been working on this for many years. In the future, based on the network digital map, we can operate the data center network, and that is the reality. And this, I believe, will be the most important element for all of you. Second, AI, such as ChatGPT, is going to change a lot of things. Some require 1,000 cards, one 4,000, and some 8,000 cards to train. And to support this kind of training architecture, many industries will find it crazy. And we're ready to support such a requirement. We've been working on AI for 3 years. We want to use AI for network and network for AI. In intelligent O&M, we're using AI for network. As for network for AI, it's about how the network can meet the needs of AI. AI computing models are very different from general purpose computing. It's very regular. In its architecture, the complexity of calculation, in the case of large AI models, not other cases, is even more regular. However, the throughput requirement is higher. Therefore, load balancing will be the challenge. 3 years ago, we started looking into these technologies. Based on the open architecture, based on Ethernet, we can realize lossless network, and the scheduling can realize 95% efficiency. So the network architecture is open and advanced. Some customers in China have deployed our solution. They have deployed 200 gig. 400 gig solution is also ready and mature. A few days ago, we released the 800 gig device, but maybe that's not AI is not ready to use that yet. But in our future planning, we need to consider how the DCN can support AI large models. Third, SASE is the thing that we recommend that you look into, and also something that we're investing in. Gartner has been talking about SASE for many years, and some say that they haven't heard it from Huawei. I admit that due to circumstances, we were a bit slow compared to others in this area. The key is to bring together edge, cloud, and core. So this year, very soon, we will announce the SD-WAN and security gateway converged solution. And we will also release the EDR terminal solution. We will also have the POP VM empowered and Kubernetes firewall. On the terminal, network, and edge, we will have a complete solution. At the moment, in terms of proactive detection of attacks, we can get 95% accuracy and 93% accuracy on EDR. We're already working on this. Our chipset and platform are ready. It's just about some software features. The features of SD-WAN and security gateway features, if you put them together, you will see that we are on par with other offerings in the industry. So in Q3 this year, in September, this SASE solution will meet the market. So the hardware is already there. This solution will be for many different scenarios, mainly SD-WAN and security, or mainly security plus some SD-WAN. So it depends. Also, it can be EDR plus zero trust access, and for the edge, we also have the solution for it. So in terms of deployment, you need to be cautious and select the suitable one for your use case. We also have even more important features in the roadmap. Our security gateway will support different forms deployed on one device. The technology is ready. So on one gateway, you can have IPS, anti-DDoS, WAF, load balance. You can deploy all of them on demand. Very soon, this will be available. So in the future, there will also be many other technologies. I know some of you are interested in our investment strategies in routing, switching, security, and wireless Wi-Fi. These are all priorities. I talked about automation, network for AI, and SASE. These are some of the immediate interests. Some are also asking about low latency switches or nanosecond level latency switches, 300 nanosecond. Soon will be launched. We've already completed the testing phase. In the securities market, I heard a lot of requirements for this, and I have to apologize for bringing it out so late. This nanosecond level latency switch will soon be launched. This morning, I also mentioned that in the distributed scenario, we can use 100,000 buses to support the securities transactions. This is already available. We also have already launched Wi-Fi 7 AP. Some vendor say that we don't have Wi-Fi anymore. That's of course not true because we developed everything for our Wi-Fi 6 and now Wi-Fi 7, from the chipset to RF to the algorithms. So we will continue to do that in the next generation. As for the campus switch, in the securities domain, there are lots of scenarios that require Wi-Fi, especially in markets outside China. Our switches for campus will be also launched with a complete series. All in all, I want to thank all of you from the finance sector. In this industry, we believe that customers are forward-looking. The requirements for digital transformation will lead to lots of changes in the network, and we firmly believe that the requirements from this sector will represent later requirements from other sectors. Therefore, we have very strong solution teams and R&D resources for this sector, and we hope to have more discussions with all of you. IP Club is only one of our flagship events. We also have GAIB, Global IP Advisory Board, GIAB. So we welcome all of the experts from technical backgrounds that want to communicate with peers in the industry. You can join our GIAB for more discussion. This afternoon, the presidents of the Datacom domains will present to you, and we look forward to hearing your feedbacks and comments. In Datacom, there are still gaps to be filled, and we look forward to hearing your comments to guide our improvement. Thank you to Kevin Hu for the wonderful opening remarks. And as we can feel from his speech, Huawei has put a lot of thoughts into the directions for future financial network construction and innovations. In HIFS 2021, Huawei released the Financial Cloud Network solution with the stable and agile architecture featuring stability and speed. Through joint innovation with financial customers, this solution has been upgraded to version 2.0. It enables efficient collaboration between services on and off cloud, rapid development of intra- and inter-cloud network services, and fast cloud access for branches. It also provides fast and stable high-quality 10 GB fully wireless experience for financial campuses to accelerate digital transformation and upgrade. Next, let's welcome the President of Government and Enterprise Domain of Datacom product line of Huawei, Cheng Jian, to present Huawei Financial Cloud Network Solution 2.0, ideal for digital financial networks.
好，各位尊敬的客户啊，
Distinguished customers,
大家下午好。
distinguished guests,
下面呢，
good
由我
afternoon.
来向大家汇报一下啊。
Next, I'd like to present to you Financial Cloud Network Solution 2.0, ideal for digital financial networks. Technological advances have no limit. Over the 5 centuries of development of the finance sector, over the past 5 years, we've seen the sector moving towards the era of AI. Such changes also raise requirements that are new to the network. And here I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all of the customers here in the room and online. Huawei serves more than 1,000 financial customers, and we are improving and honing our solutions by gaining better understanding of financial scenarios. Thank you for your continuous support. So next, I'd like to present to you the solution 2.0 of financial cloud network. This morning, Kevin Hu released 7 of our latest products and solutions. This afternoon, we want to take a different perspective to present to you the 4 domains: DCN, WAN, campus, and security, and the 6 directions of innovations. So in my next 6 slides, I will talk about these 12 innovative solutions. First, from enabled by AI to enabling AI, we have realized one-click navigation of service paths and unified network support for diversified computing power. We've created the AI digital map to support the navigation system of the network world. In data centers, network and services are often separated. It's very difficult to do trouble demarcation and location. But now we have unified the views at 5 levels so that all the logical networks, physical network nodes can be visualized for one traffic path. Whenever there is a fault, we can quickly locate where it happened. Is it in the application or the network? Often in complex scenarios, services run across DCs or multiple clouds. This digital map can help us locate the fault. In Chinese, we have a saying that one for all and all for one. We want to make the network more powerful using AI, but then we also want to make AI more powerful with the network. And that is our hyperconverged Ethernet solution to improve the computing power of AI. In the network, there is HPC, general purpose computing, AI computing, and storage. They all have their own networks. Some uses InfiniBand and FC, these kinds of dedicated networks, because they are connection-oriented. Ethernet is not connection-oriented, but we have innovated based on Ethernet to realize zero-packet loss, lossless AI network solution. So this way, we will be able to run all of these networks in one, which will significantly reduce the TCO of network construction. And this is not simple replacement. Ethernet is a sector with tens of millions of US dollars in value. It has a much stronger ecosystem than FC and IB. The bandwidth and the network-grade load balancing can greatly improve the AI training efficiency and storage throughput. The second one that I want to present to you is also in DCN domain. That is to co-management of non-SDN to coexistence of SDN to protect customer investment. The key point is for the overseas market. In your installed base, it's one of 2 situations. One is that you have a traditional network, for example, Cisco Nexus 75 or 2000 in the installed base. If you are to upgrade to Huawei SDN network, we have built in the SDN controller and AOC platform, which will allow you to manage third-party devices in one platform. And through our network models, we can shield off the device model differences. Through young models, we can quickly interoperate with third-party devices. Second, if in your network, you already have deployed other vendors' SDN solution, like Cisco ACI, but you want to have a second vendor, you don't want to waste your current investment, and the services can't run over different domains, we can provide the MDC controller, which can interoperate with a third-party SDN controller in order to manage that heterogeneous network. And the controller also provides a GUI drag-and-drop based interface, so you can also orchestrate the third-party network. The third point I want to present is also in DCN domain. This is particularly for the securities companies. From low latency forwarding to high performance multicast, we can build a high quality and high speed securities transaction network. Between the securities exchange and the security traders, we can recommend the LL series ultra low latency switches. And based on MLAG, we can realize high reliability during device upgrade. There will be no service downtime. And for the securities firms and exchange institutions, there is a core zone that requires high-performance multicast to improve efficiency. We also provide dedicated HAM series, high availability multicast series switches. We provide 32,000 multicast entry size to improve the rate and efficiency of transactions. We also provide visualization capability for the multicast. The fourth direction is in WAN domain. We have intelligent compression and path steering to lower private line costs and improve link utilization rate. On one link, we have express intelligent traffic compression technology. This cutting-edge technology builds in a value-added card in the router to run compression. The compression ratio can be up to 3:1. So in a lot of cases, you can compress out 60% of the traffic. So between DCI and WAN, the private line that you're leasing can be reduced to lower costs. And because this card is built in the router, all of the traffic steering, forwarding, etc., all are done in one device. No need for other devices. This is about one link. And then we have the IPv6 Plus technology to support network-wide link optimization and path steering. Based on the combination of SDN and SRv6, we can realize network-wide optimization and load balancing to significantly improve link utilization. The fifth direction is in campus. From simplified branches to high-quality campus networks to provide superior office experience for financial customers. For the branches, we have 6-in-1 gateway products providing switching, routing, IPS, firewall, 5G uplink, WLAN, and AC, which will significantly reduce the network construction costs for branches. For large branches, they may need a remote switching module to extend the connection for wired and wireless network. What's special is that for the branches, the APs support plug and play. You only need one converged gateway to deploy a really simple branch network. And the second point, for the bank HQ or provincial and municipal banks, we can provide high-quality campus network solution where the video conferencing will not freeze. We have 8 levels of air interface queues in a hierarchy to ensure that VIP users get preferential treatment so that their experience is very strong. We also have a board using AI engine that can identify 1,500 mainstream applications, including video conferencing applications to accelerate the rate for such applications. The next one is about security. We want to build a multi-dimensional security defense system. And for this, we have several innovations. One is for branch security. We talked about SASE, that is security to the edge, to the access. And the key point here is that we need to combine SD-WAN and security as a service. Why do I say that? Well, for branches, you need SD-WAN. But at the same time, for these kinds of lightweight campuses, smaller branches, it's not possible, not feasible to deploy so many security devices. Cloud services offer a lightweight solution that is easy to use. However, cloud, edge, and devices need to be combined in the solution. And Huawei has such a capability. We provide security as a service offerings. We have security capabilities that can be pushed through service subscription to the branches. We also provide SD-WAN security gateway that can dynamically load security functions. For the bank terminals, branch terminals, we also provide such products to realize zero trust identity authentication. And then on the data center side, we're quite different from other vendors who are only working on security or only on network. We can collaborate between our network and security solution. For example, we have 3 lines of defense against ransomware, and through high-performance firewall and sandbox, we can detect and block off known and unknown viruses to keep them off the infrastructure. Even if some viruses manage to get into the network, we have HiSec Insight security posture awareness big database platform to evaluate the security posture of the entire network, to locate where the attack is, to isolate that area to keep it from spreading. Thirdly, the virus information will be immediately reported to the storage controller in the DC to implement encryption or recovery from the lost data. So that's the Financial Cloud Network Solution 2.0 and some of the innovative solutions included in it. Here again, I want to thank all of our financial customers for your support and your trust. With that, we have been able to make progress in the market and improve our market position. We will continue to work with our customers and partners to build a strong financial infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Chen Jian, for your wonderful presentation. Just now, Mr. Chen Jian introduced the brand new Huawei Financial Cloud Network solution and a wide array of innovative solutions. Very instructive. Data center network is an important infrastructure of banks. As banking offerings become more service-oriented, innovative, and intelligent, DCs have moved from intra-city active standby mode to geo-redundant, 2-city, 3-center mode, and finally to distributed multi-city, multi-center architecture. So what are the problems and challenges during the evolution, and how are they solved? Next, let's welcome Mr. Kang Shicao, network technology expert from China Everbright Bank. He will give a speech titled Distributed multi-center collaborative network architecture, building a solid network base for digital banking. Let's welcome.
大家好。
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be here at the Huawei Intelligent Finance Summit. In recent years, financial institutions around the world are accelerating digital transformation. Moving towards distributed multi-center has become a clear trend in ICT. China Everbright Bank is also planning and building distributed multi-centers. The title of my speech today is Distributed Multi-Center Collaborative Network Architecture, Building a Solid Network Base for Digital Banking. I will share with all the guests and experts CEB's ideas and experience in building multi-center networks. The digital economy has raised higher requirements for financial institutions to provide user experience-centric digital services. As a data-intensive industry, finance is at a crucial moment to transform its services. With technology advancement, digital transformation has shifted its focus to agile services, business innovation, and intelligent decision-making. In the wave of fintech digital transformation, the ability to provide better financial services is the key. Through mobile application, openness, and ecosystem building, we aim to enable users to access banking services anywhere, anytime, via mobile phones, open and share our products and services, and implement real-time risk control and operations optimization. During digital transformation, CEB is committed to building one smart brain, two technical platforms, three service capabilities, and n popular digital offerings to support the 1, 2, 3 plus n digital banking strategy. We hope to make the most of fintech to improve service capabilities in the three aspects: mobile, open, and ecosystem. A distributed multi-center architecture and a flexible and reliable multi-active network architecture are the core carrier of computing power and data, the foundation for technology digital transformation, and important support for the rapid development and stable operations of fintechs. The digital transformation of DCs is going to become more agile, efficient, and intelligent. As the key to digital transformation, the network needs to improve in service support capabilities and network capabilities in order to achieve agile resource delivery, support flexible distributed service interaction, and ensure stable operations while sustaining high resilience, digitalization, and visibility. The evolution of network architecture is driven by the change and evolution of network service objects and is moving towards a fully distributed architecture. The DCN is moving from large Layer 2 network with centralized gateways and vertical partitions to a distributed multi-active architecture. Distributed multi-active, two-site multi-center, and cloud heterogeneous access are required. There are requirements in distributed multi-active, two-city, multi-center, and heterogeneous network coexistence. The basic network needs to be ready for realizing the synergy of DCN, DCI, and multi-active DC, facilitate the collaboration between network overlay SDN and full-stack host overlay SDN, and support east-west high-speed interaction and digital network operations. Network evolution is highly complex. Many challenges stand in the way to the target architecture. Service system, cloud migration, and rapid growth of computing power and data volume have further increased the difficulty. First, as we are moving from intracity active-active and remote DR to multi-DC multi-active, the traditional architecture can no longer meet our needs in terms of whether technology or end-to-end performance. Second, the coexistence of old and new architectures requires smooth evolution and cross-domain collaboration, including DC and DCI multi-protocol compatibility and collaboration. Third, larger-scale networks, increasing blurry boundaries of cloud migration, and growing difficulties in application collaboration require better network deployment, management, and streamlining. Multi-center quick fault locating and handling has also raised high requirements for digital operations. To address the challenges, CEB plans to make improvement in network infrastructure service experience and network management efficiency, and has set the objectives of multi-active DCN construction. The objectives include resilient, easy to scale, high performance, efficient, unified, and intelligent. Our design principles have covered universal coupling architecture, high performance base, agile and on-demand barrier, and digital and intelligent operations. By introducing a series of active-active network technologies and architecture combinations, we aim to build efficient, high-performance, and highly resilient DCNs. CEB's future-oriented DCN architecture has the following key capabilities. First, multi-active DCs can be flexibly deployed on demand, and DC resources can be flexibly expanded. Second, high performance, highly resilient, and secure. We need to meet requirements in loosely coupled network access and interconnection after cloud migration and containerization, and try our best to minimize the perception of network changes. As networks scale up and become more complex, we need to perform unified management. A centralized multi-center network front-end management portal is used to implement unified end-to-end management and perform flexible orchestration on demand. Last but not least, network visibility. Basically, we need to visualize network running status and application running paths. So, when we deliver microservices, we can monitor network performance and use networks to visualize the app running status. To achieve cross-DC collaborative interconnection, DCI is one possibility. It features DCI ring network-based resource streamlining across DCs and architecture decoupling. It is decoupled, but the flexibility is not very high. Another possibility is side-to-side multi-point interconnection. It features flexible deployment of FGW VXLAN to any network connectivity available as long as IP addresses are reachable. Thus, flexible deploy our services. In the case of remote interconnection, cross-domain DCN and DCI collaboration is also needed. VXLAN and core barrier network extension is used to streamline remote resources. At the same time, we also need to ensure end-to-end isolation between security zones and flexible route selection. The target architecture should enable smooth evolution towards high resilience and interruption-free service migration and reconstruction. There are several challenges. Now, many old and new architectures coexist, so we must make sure that the evolution is smooth. On the basis of high redundancy design, we need to deploy decoupled architecture to further improve the decoupling rate and minimize the perception of changes. Through segmented cross-center VXLAN, we support building pool-based resources and achieve flexible resource extension. Last but not least, we need to deliver ultimate interaction performance and make sure there is no network bottleneck. We need to implement on-demand shortest path application interaction for higher efficiency. Traditional O&M mainly focuses on interactions within DCs. The interaction can be quite siloed, and in many cases, the efficiency is dragged down. As we are moving towards distributed architecture, we are likely to face more daunting challenges. Now we are making explorations using network analyzers and network digital maps. We aim to build network visibility capabilities. First, we draw the topology of applications, then map it to the network physical path topology, and dynamically update information. In this way, we implement the one-stop visibility of applications and networks and can navigate service paths. This way, we can ensure the synergy between networks and O&M, and we can greatly improve the resilience of networks. We need to achieve unified management, orchestration, and O&M in cross-domain collaboration. We implement the intra-city multi-site three-segment DC architecture. We have achieved one-click service orchestration across DCs via the unified MDC portal, cross-DC network overview, and unified O&M of applications and networks. Looking forward, we believe that a network is a service capability for upper layer systems. We hope that we can use network as a service to support enterprise architecture evolution. Autonomous digital operations. With a DCN panorama, we can implement multi-domain, multi-layer real-time monitoring and AI-powered intelligent O&M for better efficiency. Next, distributed IT architecture support capabilities. With the adoption of distributed cores and AI big models, we plan to use innovative architecture technologies to achieve flexible networking and ultimate performance. Last but not least, highly resilient and elastic architecture capabilities. We continuously explore architecture, protocols, and products to build highly reliable networks and ensure smooth evolution through modular decoupling. In summary, these are the three key areas in the future. First, the networks must meet the demand of agile application deployment. Next, we need to ensure the resilience of network architecture and achieve secure operations. Last but not least, on top of that, we need to implement digital operations to add more visibility to network. As digital fintech is developing rapidly, network architectures are also constantly being optimized. And we are marching towards the goal of visibility and cloud adoption, and we aim to build a solid network foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kang Shicao, for the great talk, and thank you for your great support to Huawei. China Everbright Bank and Huawei have implemented innovative solutions like MDC and digital maps to realize unified management, control, orchestration, and O&M across multiple DCs. Itaú is the largest financial institution in Latin America, and they've been upgrading their infrastructure to improve customers' digital experience. People's work and life have changed after the pandemic. How is Itaú's network team handling the challenges that come with that? Next, the head of IP and Telecom of Itaú Unibanco, Mr. Augusto Nelson, will deliver the keynote speech on innovative and efficient.
Ladies and gentlemen, now let's warmly welcome Mr. Augusto to address a speech. Welcome.
Hello guys, good afternoon again. I don't know who of you were at this morning, this place, when we present a little bit about Itaú. I will not take a long time in concerning Itaú and explain the bank, because I think most part of you were at morning, but just very fast, Itaú is a 100 years bank. We are the largest bank of Brazil. We have 100,000 employees. We are a very huge bank. We have strong results. We have a footprint in Latin America with 18 countries, and we have a presence also in Europe. We have physical brands for 1,000 brands, 45,000 of ATMs. We have a huge number of users, almost 95% of users interact at single day at least one time with us using our apps. So we mix our strategy between physical and digital. This becomes more difficult, our way to do telecom. And like Mr. Kevin said before, I don't know how many of you listened before that telecom area should be ended, that telecom is no longer necessary because cloud and things like that. You know, after almost 3 years modernizing our systems, and now we are running most than 50% on the cloud, these guys who told that are totally wrong. Because when you got your workloads on the cloud, telecom is more often used and more necessary than before. So this is a little bit about our journey. We are a very innovative bank. Almost each of these initiatives has telecom as a foundation. So telecom, I believe, not only in Itaú, but most part of your banks, your companies, telecom should be at the beginning of the projects as a huge levers of, how to do things fast and without any outage. And one thing important here is that we are running with 5G in Brazil. I don't know how is the scenario in China, but in Brazil we already are using in our brands as a FWA, and they are performing very well. We have a lot of challenges in Brazil concerned with our territory and the quality of our carriers. And we are running most of our workloads now in the cloud. So this is a little bit about our challenge. And since the pandemic, our challenges changed a lot. Because after pandemics, we have almost 100 of our users using wired on the campus. Now we are 100% of our users with Wi-Fi, and we did what we called a cut off the cables strategy. We are no longer using wired anymore. We also have our users using laptops, and we upgraded a lot our power, our CPU power, giving more possibility to our customers. 100% of them are using cloud systems like Office 365, and this has become the traffic engineering more complex because nobody are using voice anymore. We are using video and voice, and this is the necessity of backbone and to transport this traffic. It's bigger than we had before. Another important thing is that we are evolving a lot our strategy of SD1. And we are hoping that Mr. Kevin Hu succeed in their challenge to deliver a SASE very, very fast, because we are hoping and expect this would change our scenario a lot. And for the last but not the least, we have the modernization as a great lever that when we bring the workload from the legacy to the cloud, the magnetisms of the data changes a lot. And the backbone, it's more necessary than before. Something that I would like to share with you, and I noticed that is a more technical group today, is that we have a strategy in telecom, and when we start, we focus on availability, because telecom should deliver availability as a principle, as a goal. And the second, we call speed, because availability without speed is not availability. And the third, we have to deliver security, because we have to be available with speed and security. And nonetheless, it's important to say that you should deliver this with a cost effective, because we are a bank, and we have to take care with the costs, of course. So we have to deliver these three things with cost effective. How can we do that? We put some maximum, we put some strategic moves, what we call, the first one, we call the data center strategy. So we should have an interaction between our legacy data center and the cloud. Thinking how difficult for us to have a single firewall, rule of firewall between data centers and 2 or 3 availability zones if we should do that statically. So we put this as a priority and make this some automations to fix and to deal with this problem. In this scenario, SDN and microsegmentation was the solution, what we call the tactical move to solve the strategical problem. And the other one is what we call 100% of mobility, because we don't control where our users are at this moment. In the past, we have a fixed position. Every employee has a fixed position. Now we don't have this anymore. We didn't have the same real estate space that we have anymore. We have less, so less of that we have. So we have to provide 100% of mobility, Wi-Fi and VPN with security, with additional security. And we did that as well. And the third place, what we call the new traffic engineering, because of this complexity that I mentioned, the traffic, the multi-domain, the data center and the cloud, we have to deal with new challenges of the traffic, especially what we call split tunneling, split the traffic. Because in the beginning, we had to transport all traffics from the branch to the data center. Now, the data is no longer in the data center, it's on the cloud, split of the cloud. So how to do that? We are implementing a functionality on the SD1 that split the traffic on the origin. What we can do with this? We can be safe bandwidth, we can save latency, time, and even availability itself. We are doing that, but not statically. We have to control centralized because we have a lot of sites, we have a lot of data centers. How can we do that statically? It's impossible. And the other thing that is important for us is what we call infrastructure consolidation. As I mentioned before, we are migrating the workloads. So the data center is getting smaller. How can we do with a smaller data center? We really have to virtualize what can be possible, and we are virtualizing a lot. Firewall, for instance, a good example of that. We are working with Huawei in this project. We put a huge boxes and virtualize almost all firewalls that we have, and we put all of them in a single panel that we can control. And digital map, in this case, is strategic for us because they help, the strategic map help us a lot to fix, to find the problems and to solve a problem that we call lead time problem, because we need to deliver new functionality so fast to the business, because for banks, time is money. And what is important to mention about this is that it's important to have a good partners to help and to be with you, helping, supporting, and even evolving with you. Something that interests me a lot in Huawei, and it's different from other vendors that we have contact, is that Huawei has a behavior, it's what we call humble behavior. You saw Mr. Kevin Hu mention that he's delivering more features, more products, and this has helped us a lot to understand how to evolve together as a group, as an ecosystem. So since the beginning of our partnership, we start with a single video camera, a video conference system. Now we are using a lot of idea hubs. And for me, idea hubs is the example, it's the materialization of AI in telecom. Because Idea Hub has a lot of research of AI to noise canceling, speaker tracking, it works pretty good. But since the beginning of our partnership, we start with a video conference, then we bring the legacy to the new model, then we evolve to computing. We are using a lot of servers from Huawei. 2020, we evolved to storage, and for me, it seems like we are evolving on the cloud strategy because for my understanding, Huawei evolving cloud like an infrastructure approach. You have to have your SDN networking, Dorado speaking with the networking, and application speaking with Dorado. Everything fits together as a strategy. So without knowing everything, we start with this in 2021. We put a lot of investments in our backbone because our network should improve a lot in capacity because what I said about the teams, about the new kind of traffic. And now we are working on the new version of SD-WAN because our legacy SD-WAN, and believe me, there is a legacy SD-WAN. I can see that nobody implemented yet, but we are in the second wave of SD-WAN. And this new SD-WAN needs to have new features, more automation, more security embedded, and sometimes we mix the functionality between SD-WAN and SASE, and we don't know where ends one and where starts another, and I think it's important to keep eye on SASE when investing in SD-WAN. But now we are deploying SD-WAN in our branches in Brazil. We are using low-orbit satellites and are doing pretty good. And I don't know if you guys in China are using that. If someone are using later, please. I would like to discuss about it. But we are using with good success in Brazil and are deploying with zero-touch strategy, the new SD-WAN. And now we have other desire. We are evolving our roadmap. We build a roadmap for us 5 years. And now we are evolving and delivering new features, not just with Huawei, but Huawei is one of the most valuable partners that we have. And telecom in Itaú, it's been a part of the modernization. We are delivering traffic, we are delivering features, we are commending what we have on the cloud, because believe me, we still have an important part to do on the cloud. We have to configure a lot of things on the cloud, especially if you use Kubernetes. Kubernetes transforms the complexity of configuration 10 times, 20 times, I don't know, but it's more complexity, and telecom needs to play an important part. And something that helps us a lot that I would like to give you as a gift to let this wisdom is that NPM, it's very important to help in this journey. Because at least in Itaú, the first team to be called on your own, it's a telecom team. We always are called as the first team. And why this happens? Because we know where the problems are. And how? With a tool such NPMs. APMs can help, but NPMs is better. So if you can take just one advice, if you don't pay any attention for what I said, just keep in mind that NPM is the key for success. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Nelson. Thank you for the brilliant strategy sharing. 金融科技的高速发展和数字化转型的快速推进，给我们的日常生活。
The rapid development of financial technology and digital transformation have made our life more convenient. At the same time, we are facing increasing cyber threats and risks. Building a secure and reliable financial network is especially important. Our high-tech security solution provides an integrated security system to ensure secure and stable financial services. Next, let's welcome Mr. Ma Yue, President of the Security Product Domain of Huawei Datacom product line. The title of his speech is Empowering Financial Security with End-to-End Network Protection. Let's welcome.
各位嘉宾，大家下午好。
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ma Ye. I work on security. The title of my speech today is Empowering Financial Security with End-to-End Network Protection. Security, in essence, is to ensure certainty of businesses. And The banking sector is moving towards the 3.0 phase. So the 1.0 is about basic border defense, and for bank 3.0, we need to adopt a more proactive approach. But still, there are many challenges in security. First, for example, we have made classified protection, but still, the security is not enough. And also, a lot of customers, for example, securities companies, are under attacks of DDoS. The scale of such attack is also becoming larger and larger. Third, in the face of unknown threats, how do we establish defense? And last but not least, security services. Secure O&M has been a problem for a long time, and there is difference between the head office and the branches. For the head office, maybe the security defense is stronger, but for the branches, we still have a long way to go. So the banking sector is under a lot of pressure, for example, especially after the eruption of the Russia-Ukraine war. The financial sector is likely to take the brunt. A lot of banks are subject to threats like ransomware attacks. For example, a lot of key personal information is leaked. Once the information is leaked, it will greatly damage a bank's reputation. That's why security is so important. So how does Huawei implement secure O&M? So Huawei actually faces a lot of attacks from organizations and individuals. Our offerings include Huawei Cloud and Huawei Smart Manufacturing. We have 80,000 people scale factories, and we have MERP, Vmore, and Huawei Pay, a lot of commercial services. So how does Huawei build security? Well, first, around the world, we have deployed over 2,000 security products, serving about 210,000 employees worldwide, covering over 170 countries and regions. Every day, we block over 1 million network threats. Every month, 550,000 cyber attacks, 3 million SQL injection and access attacks per year. So later, I will talk to you in greater detail how do we build security. First, let's look at the bigger picture. We are moving from system security to threat defense to now the focus is service resilience. So for system security, our focus is on organization, and for threat defense, our focus is on defense, as the name suggests. But you know, defense is often lagging behind attacks, just like what we learned from the COVID-19. Whenever we have worked out a measure, it seems that there is a new variant of the virus. So in this stage, we need to focus more on the service resilience to make our services more deterministic. So Huawei has also moved beyond threat defense to achieve deterministic service assurance. In the face of threats, we first need to establish a security bottom line. Let's say the threat is unknown. We need to find out a way to detect such threats to minimize the impact, and we need to find a way to enable fast restoration. On the right-hand side, you can see we have established a three-dimensional service assurance system. First, threat defense, that is to minimize uncertainties to make our security systems stronger and stronger. But the key is intrinsic security. The systems themselves should be secure. And the third key element is operations. We need to adopt proactive operations. So first, in the face of threats, we have the capability to defend against them. And second, the systems themselves are secure. And third, once threats occur, we can quickly find and detect the threats and address the threats. That is the three-dimensional system, and the system is only going to be better and better as we keep using it. Why is that? Well, first, because the architecture is being constantly hardened, and new threats will also be recorded in the library, so that we don't need to deploy a lot of people on site to address these issues. Based on this observation, I think that in the future we need to adopt a holistic approach of build securely and check nonstop. The key is build securely. We need to build a secure and trusted cybersecurity system. First, we must make sure the infrastructure is trusted. Based on trusted hardware, software, and system, we built a trusted environment. And by introducing technologies like IPv6+, we need to find deterministic networks and adopt tracing to beef up network security. Third, system security. For example, we can adopt zero trust mechanism. And another dimension is about check nonstop. Basically, it is about holistic detection, intelligent defense, and stereo security. That's how we have worked out the HiSec 3.0. It features cloud network security device synergy. For the cloud side, we provide centralized or intensive security services, and for networks we provide cloud network synergy, and for security we have a wide array of security gateways. That is the foundation of the security system. And for device, we will release the next generation EDR. So once it is released, it can close issues in an end-to-end manner and address root causes. Now, the key of a secure system is secure gateways. That is the foundation. Superior performance, ultra-high reliability, and simplified O&M will be very important. Well, first, we have released the 7.2 Tbps for modular device. It can improve efficiency by 30%. 30% of increase in throughput. And we can also achieve dual backup on the hardware layer, so that we have hot standby support, zero packet loss during handovers. And third, simplified O&M. We use Cycle Manager to achieve unified O&M and policy synchronization among multiple devices. Now, we actually have done a lot of tests for some products on the market. Now, in terms of throughput, new build, latency, and security protection, Huawei security gateways are one of the best. Now, here are the two engines. First, we have a dedicated engine. We call it a heterogeneous engine. Huawei is the only two vendors who self-develop secure gateway. One is Huawei, another Delta. So on top of general engine, we have the pattern matching engine, NP acceleration engine, encryption and decryption engine, and adaptive security engine. In this way, we can improve performance by several magnitudes. Second, by leveraging cloud technologies, we can work out our security algorithms and download the algorithms to the engine. So when it comes to pattern matching, we can achieve accuracy rate of 99%. And default block is very important. Now the average default blocking rate in market is 70%, but now we have improved that figure to 90%. It can greatly reduce the workload of the security personnel. DDoS attack is another major threat confronting banks. Now we are facing more tier-level threats and attacks. So based on our architecture, now we have up to 2.4 Tbps defense capability. One such device equals to 6 competitors. We have our self-developed MP chip. So after processing, we can just offload the DDoS services to MPs. In this way, we don't need to do decryption, but we are able to perform analysis. Now the key is O&M. Now for large traffic attacks, quick attacks and other kinds of attacks, a lot of attacks is actually completed within 5 minutes. If we still rely on human labor, it will be too slow. That's why we have introduced the knowledge base so that we can detect such attacks automatically. Now, one major pain point for a lot of enterprises is O&M. So every year, Huawei produces about 20 billion security logs. We cannot simply rely on manual power to analyze all these logs. That's why we have built the Huawei Tiankun on-premises mode. But there are 4 engines. First, it can do avoidance and compress the security logs to 100,000 key incidents. Another engine is the analysis engine. So based on historical knowledge base, it can produce scripts and perform fast analysis, and lots of operations can be done automatically. Another engine is AI analysis engine. Based on AI algorithms, we do another round of analysis and detect anomalies. And then we have an expert service library. Now we only have 25 people, and 25 people is enough to handle all the security attacks. Or because we have leveraged these cloud security services. There are 3 links. First, these on-cloud smart brain. Second, Qiankun Shield. Now the Qiankun Shield can be deployed to branches of banks, and we also have an EDR. EDR can be deployed on devices. In this way, we are able to create a synergy between cloud networks and devices. So when there is an attack first, with Qiankun Shield, we can block the attack. In this way, we can block about 90% of attacks, and the rest 10% the information will be reported to the cloud, and the cloud can query our intelligence library to determine whether it is a real attack. Let's say if there is an unknown virus and it just reached to the terminals, to the devices, then at the terminal side, we can just query the logs and see whether it is a real threat, and the information will also be fed back to the cloud, and the cloud can do the analysis to determine whether it is a real threat. Now we have already deployed over 50,000 Qiankun Shields in various industries. Now ransomware is rampant, but we haven't. But with the adoption of our solution, there is no report of attack of ransomware. And for the next step, we will evolve to SASE, so that apart from SD-WAN capabilities, we also have very strong security capabilities. And in the cloud-based resource pools, we will deploy more powerful resources to be ready for the evolution to SASE. And we have also released the network storage ransomware protection solution, because we have our capabilities in storage, network, and ransomware, and with our platform we can combine their strengths. So here you can see we have divided attacks into 3 phases: before attack, during attack, and after attack. First, before attack, we can use Qiankun Shield to block attacks. Now, next phase, during attack, as long as we have identified a CNC connection, the security controller will communicate with the storage controller so that the storage controller can start backup. Now, in the traditional mode, there is no such linkage, because with the traditional solution, it's likely that the backed up data is also polluted. But now with this linkage, we're able to know which kind of data is problematic to make sure that we have clean data. In this way, we can establish a highly integrated anti-ransomware system. Now, it has already been adopted by many banks in Southern Africa, and it has created a value of about 600 to 700 million US dollars. And we will further promote our solution to a larger scale. Now, Huawei has established 6 security labs across the world, covering network architecture, trustworthiness, privacy protection, and other end-to-end technologies in attack defense. Now, for example, you can see Theta, it has already filed for over 1,000 patents. So in technology, we have a wealth of accumulation. And in the future, based on our platforms, we will further launch a series of products. Our products have gained wide recognition in the industry. For 2 consecutive years, Huawei was #1, recognized by Gartner. And also for the challenger, Huawei is also one of the kind of the only one vendor in China who have entered that. So Huawei can be considered the best choice for you. Thank you.
Thank you to Ma Ye for the great talk. Digital transformation is picking up pace across the world in the banking sector. New technologies are introduced and new application versions are released quickly. Uncertainties due to these changes make it hard to run IT infrastructure and applications stably. To address these challenges, Netis provides an intelligent O&M solution that serves more than 200 banks and financial institutions around the world. The unified service-oriented end-to-end intelligent O&M analysis capabilities run across traditional architecture, multi-cloud, different devices and applications. So next, please welcome to the stage He Xiaolin, the Chief Product Officer and co-founder of Netis, to talk about AI Ops enables fast fault demarcation and troubleshooting in minutes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, over the world. Welcome to my beautiful hometown, Shanghai. So this is Wizard. I'm the co-founder and chief product officer of Netis. So today I'm very pleased to stand here to introduce the business level AI Ops to you, to the worldwide banks. So firstly, please let me briefly introduce Netis. So I think most of the people in China, they know Netis because we serve more than 140 more banks in China domestically. And our domestic HQ is in Shanghai, China, and our overseas HQ is in Singapore. Netis, we collaborate with Huawei very closely. We are recognized by Huawei as the excellent partner for many years. And we are also the Huawei Financial Partner Global Program members, especially the board members. And we serve more than 200 commercial banks worldwide, and 20 central banks and financial infrastructures, and lots of enterprises. And Netis has been recognized by Gartner as the sample vendor of AI Ops and co-vendor of performance analysis at the year 2017. So during the pandemic, I actually, last 3 years, I go to lots of different continents and different countries to talk to the customers worldwide. So during the pandemic, actually the digital transformation journey has been accelerated radically. So all of us actually, we just leverage the benefit of the digital transformation journey. Just like this, this diagram shows, we now have got the online loan. It's very typical service which has been invented in the pandemic, during the pandemic. So firstly, we can log in the login page, we do the assessment, and we input some information, and finally we do the verification, and then we can get the money. It's very typical. But behind the simplicity, actually it's the complexity. We need to go through the multi-vendor cloud. We need to go to the data centers, different data centers actually. And just like Augusto from Itaú just said, now we have got the container network, right? So we need to go to the Kubernetes, and we go to the mainframe, and to go across the whole IT infrastructures. It's really complex. So if there's something wrong, what's wrong with it? right? The network team always be the first one who will be challenged. So we need to identify the things and we need to be more active. So this is how NetEase and Huawei, we collaborate together to bring you the value. We can now have got the business view. We will tell you, okay, this is the transaction count. This is the user experience. This is the response rate. And this is the success rate. And then we can go to the application layer. If something wrong, we can directly tell you, okay, this application layer, we have got the problems. And then we can go to the network. We will see, okay, whether the network has impacted the performance of the application or not. And then finally, we can go to the device layer. This is a technology Huawei provide to us. They have got a very beautiful tool, which is called NCE Fabric Insight. We can integrate together and go to the device layer. So how some people will say, okay, just like a magic, how you can understand the application, how you can know the transaction volume, how you can know the transaction type, because we can support more than 2,400 different protocols, the application protocols actually. For example, if you use the credit card, we understand the ISO 8583, we understand Visa, MasterCard, JCB, American Express very well. If we use core banking, we can understand terminals, Oracle FlexCube, SAP Core Banking, Silver Lake very well. So this is the magic. We can analyze all the protocols. So leveraged by this technology, actually 4 different roles can get the benefit. The first one, of course, the infrastructure team, the network team. So the network team can use our tools to identify, okay, whether it's the application side problems or the network side problem, whether it's the overlay problem or the underlay problem, whether it's the third-party problem or the data center network problems. Because we can analyze the header of the packets, then we can see, okay, which side we have got the problems. And another one is when we decode all the payloads of the application, actually we can see the application details. Then we will tell you, all right, so how about the application performance? So this one will definitely be benefit for the application team. Some people will say, okay, we have got some APM tools. Why we still need NetEase? Because we solve the problem in the different way. We don't need to install the agent into the system. Consider we only have got one mechanism. This is capture the packets from the network and resemble them, then we can get the result. So this is a purely agentless, bypass, zero risk way. We can get the information. And then this solution can also be benefit for the database team. So some of you now using the IBM DB2 use Oracle database, and some of the our top bank in Singapore actually they migrate their Oracle workload to MariaDB. You know, it's so difficult for the operators to analyze the SQL, especially the slow SQL statement. So before NetEase, they need to open the tracing to analyze the performance of the database. But actually, it's just like a paradox, because open the tracing will definitely impact the performance of the database. According to the industry practice, it will impact about 30% of the database performance. So open the tracing to analyze the performance of the database is not a good way. But we can support most of the database protocols. We can support Oracle, DB2, MariaDB, Huawei GaussDB, of course. So we can analyze the performance of the database. It can be very helpful for you where you want to do some application modernize. And finally, this one can be very useful for the LOB, line of business. They can use our tools to optimize the customer journey to improve the user experience. So this solution, I prepared a short demo here. So let's see the screen.
After new services are rolled by Bank Z, the system monitors the transaction quality in real time. If the quality deteriorates and the response delay exceeds the threshold, the system analyzes the resulting alarm. After the network channel view is switched, the system visualizes applications and network paths in real time, implements automatic correlation analysis of failure points, and displays E2E network forwarding paths for locating poor QoE locations. The system also intelligently recommends key information, locates root causes of service deterioration in minutes, and provides rectification suggestions. iMaster NCE Fabric Insight provides scenario-specific apps to implement integrated O&M of applications and networks.
So according to the very short video demo, you can see the workflow is really straightforward. So firstly, we see the business layer. We see the whole business volume of this bank. And then something wrong, we can go to the application layer. Then we can deep dive into the network layer. We can see whether the network has got a conjunction or not, just like the Google map. Okay, finally, we can go to the device layer because we can integrate it with Huawei Fabric inside. So before NetEase, actually the troubleshooting process is extremely long. So we need to go ping the device. We need to check the logs. Maybe sometimes we need to open the span to do the packet capture to analyze the performance. And finally, we take tons of the time to write reports. So I give you an example. I help one of the customer to do a 2-second network performance analysis. They spend about 6 months to write the reports. Why they spend so much time? Because they need to analyze every single package manually. We all know that 1 second for the GE network, we will have got 1.4 million packets. So how can the human being analyze them manually, right? So after NetEase, now we can directly go through the business layer, application layer, device layer, and we will also generate a report automatically. Then you have got the time to enjoy the coffee. So I just want to highlight several unique capabilities. So the first one is about the container network. So some of the customers now, they migrate their workload from the mainframe to the container. They use OpenShift. So you don't need to worry about that. The OpenShift actually can be very good to support. We can analyze the container layer, the network, and we can analyze about the VMware NSSI, and the VMware NSS-T. And then we can go to the physical network, so with no doubt. So this is the first one. We can support multi-tier VXLAN and get the traffic from the container network and to tell you whether the container network performance is good or not. So this is the first one. And the second one is we have got a significant security enhancement. So because in the modern network, we have got lots of different packets. So their headers, actually, they are not equal. So some of the vendors, they just provide the fixed slicing. So the fixed slicing will slice lots of the useful information. Sometimes it will keep less. Sometimes it keep too much. But NetEase, actually, we can identify every single packet. We will know, all right? So this is the header. This is the payload. We will keep the header for analysis, but we will drop all the payload. So this is the mechanism we are using. So definitely we'll enhance the security things. And the last one is the Google-like search, which we call the smart session analysis. So think about the one scenario, just like the Augusto from Itaú just mentioned. So sometimes the application team will say, all right, so my mobile banking has got something wrong, whether it was caused by the network or not. So before NetEase, we have got the traditional ways, right? We need to check the health of the devices. But now, actually, you only need to input the IP address of the mobile banking, select a time range, click search. Then we will show you all the sessions related to the mobile banking, to the specific IP address, and we will tell you this is the network quality, and then this is the application response time. So if the network quality is very good, but the application response time is very high, so nothing wrong with the network, right? So this is the very unique technology. I prepare two success cases for you. So one is the overseas. This is one of the largest commercial banks in Asia. So they have got two very large data centers in Singapore, actually. We help them to analyze 2,280 BPS per second. Think about it. It's a very large traffic volume. So if they don't have got a tool just like us, how can they analyze it? Right? And the search feature I just mentioned, just like the Google search, we give them to help them to analyze 17 billion sessions every 10 minutes. So it's really huge. No human being can do it. So only the tools with the AI engine, we can help them to do it. And when we're talking about the deploy mechanism, it's extremely simple. So they have got lots of server rack. They do span on all the TOR switches. So all the TOR switches will directly connect to a tap switch. And then the tap switch will connect to our probes for analysis. One for network, one for application. So this is the simplicity of their IT deployment for our NPM tools. So extremely to help them to improve the troubleshooting process. And the things we just give them actually is the very solid evidence for the infra team to prove there's nothing wrong with the infrastructure. Because I just quote one sentence from Gartner. Gartner just said, the network packets is the ultimate truth of network. All right, so this is the top bank from the Asia Pacific. Another one is domestic. This is the top bank in China. We collaborate with Huawei to give them the business layer AI ops solution. So as you can see from the screen, so firstly, we have got a very beautiful ECC screen. They can monitor all the transactions and the business in this bank. If there's something wrong, we can go to the application layer to see, okay, which application components you have got the problems. So you don't need to worry about the microservice. If you have got the microservice containers, we can directly tell you this is the problem from one specific microservice. And then we have got just like a Google map, you will see the green line, red line, and the yellow line. The yellow line means the network performance actually impact the business performance. So we can just go to a map to tell you, okay, this is the network path. This is the whole network path. And then we will tell you the specific switch and the specific port, you have got the problems. So as you can see, this is very straightforward and it collaborates with the different teams. The application team, the infrastructure team, they say the same language and the troubleshooting process is extremely easy. So this is, I will give you two success stories. And then we can move forward. So most of the banks worldwide, now we just migrate the workload from the mainframe to the cloud, to the distributed core banking, right? So this solution can not only be deployed in the data center, we can also be deployed actually in the development environment to integrate it with the DevOps tool chain. So just like this, if you have got the new core banking, right? So you have got the SLO, service level object, for the different transaction types of the core banking, the network layer, the application layer. You can define these metrics, you can define these thresholds into our systems. We will show you, all right, in the development environment, in the UAT environment, whether the distributed core banking can meet your requirement or not. So if they can meet your requirement, all the bars will be green. So if they cannot meet, some of the bars will be red. So it's very straightforward and easy to understand. And then you can directly migrate this tool from the UAT, from the development environment to the production environment very smoothly. So this is how we can help the customers to analyze the whole performance of the distributed core banking. And one last thing is for the ultra low latency trading. So lots of the securities company in China and over the world, the investment bank, they do high frequency trading, right? So we need the ultra low latency of the trading. But how can we improve the performance by not know the performance of the trading, right? So NetEase can actually to analyze the performance hop by hop. We can tell you, okay, this is the millisecond, this is a nanosecond of the trading speed. Then when you know that, you can optimize it. And then we can fully leverage about the technology from Huawei. Huawei now have got the low latency switch. They put the very accurate timestamping into the span traffic, and we can read this very accurate timestamping to tell you, okay, this is the latency of the trading. All right. So this is my speech. I just hope you like it. We can cover the whole IT infrastructures, development, UAT, the production environment for the application lifecycle. We can cover the business layer, application layer, infrastructure, overlay network, and underlay network. And consider our solution. We have got zero impact to the performance because the only mechanism we are using, I think you are familiar, is span. We only need to do span or port mirror to get the traffics. And all these tools has been integrated with the AI capability. So we don't need a human being to do the troubleshooting. Let the machine to do it. Okay, thanks for having me here.
谢谢，非常感谢贺晓林先生的精彩介绍，让我们见识到了 NetEase 强大的智能。
We got to know NetEase strong, intelligent O&M analysis capability. BDO Bank is one of the largest banks in the Philippines and has been committed to providing more secure, efficient, and reliable financial services. To achieve this goal, BDO implemented SDN transformation of campus office networks. Huawei's high-quality 10 Giga campus solution helped them greatly improve the access speed and deliver better office experience. Now let's welcome Ms. Vanessa Maria Dolores Cipriano, Head of Network Services and IT Infrastructure Operations, BDO. The title of her speech is BDO Network Infrastructure Transformation, High Quality 10 Giga Campus Network for BDO Ultimate Financial Experience.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Huawei, for the invite. First, allowed me to introduce who BDO is. BDO is Philippines' largest bank in terms of total assets, loans, deposits, and trust funds under management. Its current market capitalization is at $37 billion with a net income of 57.1 billion Philippine pesos and total asset value as of end of 2022 of 73.13 billion BDO is the largest distribution network with over 1,600 operating branches, more than 4,600 ATMs nationwide, and with 16 international offices spread across Asia, Europe, North America, and Middle East. BDO is consistently honored with international award-giving publications and organizations for the banking and financial services sectors. In last year's Best Financial Institution Awards 2022, BDO Unibank was awarded the Best Bank in the Philippines for the 11th consecutive time by Hong Kong-based institutional investment publication Alpha Southeast Asia. It also has, a whole list of other awards as listed there. So with that, I echo our President, Mr. Nestor V. Tan's message when he said, and to quote, these recognitions are a testament of the commitment and dedication of the BDO, of the entire BDO workforce, because we are committed to continually find ways to best serve the Filipino people through our services. The synergy of BDO and Huawei, particularly on network infrastructure, began in 2019. We've started small, installing data center switches for some of our functional blocks. In 2021, we expanded in using Huawei switches in our domestic branches and in some of our floor switches in our quite a number of regional offices. We have likewise deployed Huawei's Wi-Fi 6 for our branch kiosks and providing the needed connectivity for self-service solution and paperless faster transactions. In 2022, we have improved the state of our interconnectivity between on-prem data centers with the use of DWDM infrastructure, replacing the traditional list lines. And like in any relationship that's doing well, you invest in that trust and take it further. To date, we have partnered with Huawei once more to provide 10G campus network for ultimate connectivity experience. For our digital infrastructure journey, the following are the focus of our areas of transformation. First, we need to modernize our infrastructure. Then we need to, strengthen our security and likewise modernize our applications. I will be discussing more on the modernization of our network infrastructure effort. To address these pain points, BDO partnered with Huawei for our Wi-Fi 6 solution. At the beginning of the year, we've sat down with our technical team and meticulously discussed the design of the LAN infrastructure that will provide a better user experience for on how we do our day-to-day business. And as in any new solution, we opted to be conservative on the deployment. So we initially started with the deployment on certain IT floors. This solution, the new Wi-Fi 6 that we're currently establishing, has provided us with highly secured solution because the WIPS, the wireless infrastructure, comes with the solution. Then it provides a better improved experience because we can now do a single sign-on It's now integrated with our Active Directory. Hence, wherever we go within the same network infrastructure, it provides the same profile. It likewise improved the deployment method. The turnaround time in commissioning these access points has improved tremendously. And it also provided us with a whole lot of features from 1G of LAN speed. Now we're doing 10G LAN speed. It also provided us with multiple options. On signing in. We can opt in using QR method. And what I like most actually about the solution, it has customizable features based on a user requirement. Sorry. Next, let me talk about the engagement that we've had. One of the best things about the Huawei partnership is not only the solution itself, but likewise the engagement. It provided with excellent project management. We have a regular cadence and where we discuss any potential blockers that needs to be addressed. It's very flexible based on BDO requirement, BDO use cases. And we were assigned with subject matter experts who sat side by side with our engineers. Then we were assigned with a very strong relationship manager who helps us address all raised issues. Now, one of the best factor also is it's a true value for money or for investment. Not only monetary, not only on the money's worth, but likewise on investment of time, investment on effort, and most especially on the investment of trust. The new BDO infrastructure is now in a much better state. We've deployed software-defined on our on-prem data centers. We're using application-centric for our server block. And we've also utilized software-defined WAN for our branches and our soon-to-be off-site ATMs. Then our campus is now SDN ready. It's likewise highly resilient, and it's now scalable. We can scale up. We can do expansion vertical and horizontal. With the deployment of distributed security and with its respective blocks, it allowed us to do it has improved our security and likewise increased our performance with the optical process flow. Because it's now SDN, because it's now digital, it basically lowered our costs because of shared infrastructure. Now, why do we partner with Huawei? BDO and Huawei share a common vision to build a digital network infrastructure that will enable the bank to deliver its services to each and every Filipino, an infrastructure helped powered by Huawei technology. As we expand the engagement, Huawei network solution proved to be superior. We continually work with Huawei since the relationship is based on openness and is highly collaborative, and every success is a shared one. Support for every project does not end with a project acceptance, but it is continually extended. I have mentioned this before when I was given an opportunity to speak for Huawei also in Singapore, that working with Huawei goes beyond a vendor-vendee relationship. It's really a true partnership. With this, I would like to say thank you everyone and have a good afternoon. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you so much. Thank you for this brilliant introduction. 金融数字化经营能力的建设和提
Building
升
and improving digital financial operation capabilities pose new requirements to the networks. To cope with explosive service growth and agile innovation, Huaxia Bank believes that the major service digital transformation not only requires zero packet loss and high bandwidth from network infrastructure, but also efficient scheduling and fast response of network resources. So how can we automatically and flexibly schedule network resources based on scenarios during changes and fault location? Well, let's hear it from the network architect of Huaxia Bank, Xu Luning, to talk about network as a service enables unified orchestration across multiple clouds and DCs.
Good afternoon. My
name is Xu Luning. I'm with Huaxia Bank. It's been 2 days in the conference. I know you're probably tired. The summit has been quite serious, so I want to say something on the side. In the past few days, Gaokao, or the college entrance exam, is underway. As someone who made a huge break thanks to Gaokao, I'm grateful to it. Digital transformation, like Gaokao, for a high school graduate, is both a challenge and an opportunity. And we need to seize the opportunity to realize unified orchestration in this current stage of development. Now at Huaxia Bank, we have 3 DCs in 2 cities, over 5,000 network elements in the 2 DCs. We have both traditional and hardware SDN solution deployed. You can see this is the zoning of the infrastructure. We have a full stack cloud. In the development zone, we have also the internet zone, WAN, extranet, and O&M zone, ECC, other band management zone. These are the zones in our DC. And of all these zones, in every one of them, or in every physical facility, we have switches, firewall, load balancer, and many other network devices. And because the network was built over time in different stages, there are in different zones or in different facilities or different DCs, we have multiple vendors, we have different architectures, so it's quite a fragmented scene. The pain of network O&M is probably felt by all of you who have this experience. So across DC, across cloud, when we distribute services, the scale out of capacity will be a big challenge. We need, in the past, we would do O&M zone by zone, and the O&M in general, the troubleshooting, were all very difficult. That is why we had these 3 key challenges in O&M. One is multi-cloud, multi-vendor, different systems, separate management systems. For a complex service, there are over 100 plus breakpoints from service request to the completion of processing. There could be more than 100 breakpoints. Another challenge is strong dependency on other teams when there is collaboration. The network not only does routing and switching. We have an inside joke because we manage the network. We call ourselves the Office of Network and Other Things Management, because the devices like LB, DNS, SSL, if it doesn't fall into the category of computer storage, it falls into our scope of responsibility. When we provision something, we need to send information from one team to another, and even between different teams in the network department. When there are multiple tickets running in parallel, we have a high probability of mistakes. Sometimes there are different work orders, one for firewall policy and the other for network access, and then for NAT or IP translation, and so on and so forth. So for the network team, it needs to process a massive amount of tickets. There is no global view. They cannot be accountable for the end results. If there is a mistake handling one ticket, then it's going to cause a problem. Our goal is to build scenario-specific network service architecture to realize end-to-end automated service rollout across clouds and DCs. At the NE layer, the network team speaking its own language will manage the switching, routing, load balancing, etc. And then in the middle, we have the service layer, which is managed by the business teams of the bank. They manage the capacity expansion, isolation, and service rollout. In between these two layers, we need translation to translate the network language into business language. And to realize this goal, we have worked with Huawei in joint innovation and introduced AOC and Runbook. With AOC at the bottom on the south bound, we can shield off the differences of different vendor devices. Our 4 to 7 network resources can all be consolidated through AOC. We can provision services across different clouds automatically. And then on the northbound, we can orchestrate network services automatically based on atomic capabilities to provide scenario-specific interfaces to provide network services. On the northbound, for example, firewall policy, deployment, switch configuration, all of these atomic operations can be orchestrated in the form of services so that we can provide services by scenarios. And to the northbound, only one interface is provided to use all of that. And on the northbound, to shield off the network device differences, and realize unified management and control, we need to do decoupling. We need activation in minutes. We also need the NE configuration translation, automatic device driver generation based on the Young engine, and interface standardization. So all of these fall into the concept of automation, but it's more than that. Because we have devices from different vendors, we need a general framework that can consolidate all of them. On the northbound, we have the Lego-like service flow orchestration to provide network service interfaces for business. The local Lego-like orchestration experience is very easy to use. Through drag and drop, we can orchestrate the basic programming elements to create the service logic. We can also automatically generate interfaces for the business teams to use multiple times. We have 8 types of basic network services to encapsulate the network elements into Lego components or the atomic capabilities. And based on the atomic services, we can dynamically load them and support customization. So having talked about AOC, let's take a look at the application examples in our service. We'll take the DMZ zone as an example. The 2 DMZs in different DCs. This is a logical view. We have 3 carrier lines. We have DNS LB, and then the traffic goes to firewall, map it to intranet IP, verify signature, and then it goes through firewall and then to the core switching zone. This is a simplified view, but for different DCs in the same DMZ, even though the logic is the same, but the network architecture is different. Is it hardware SDN or traditional network? Is it cloud? What kind of devices, what models they use, and even the versions can be different, and those differences matter. For example, for internet banking service, maybe we want to adjust the distribution ratio of the service from half and half to 1 to 9 over 2 DCs. And that means we need to call the traffic allocation interface and deliver a DNS configuration to adjust the traffic ratio from 5.5 to 1.9. And the second scenario is the adjustment of load balancing or isolation or gray release. Here the arrow goes to LB, but actually it should go to LB because in our case, LLB is the first load balancing, but LB is for the load balancing of hosts. If one host is down and needs to be isolated, and we add another host that needs to carry out 1% of the services to do a gray release, then we use one interface to input the relevant parameters, and on the southbound we can invoke that interface to deliver to the LB to realize this function. The third scenario is to roll out a new service. The previous two scenarios were about a single network element. Maybe it involves different software versions or products from the same vendor. But when it comes to the new service rollout, all of the network elements in the DMZ need to be managed and orchestrated to support, to provide an interface for this scenario. The server and switches need to be configured. We also need to configure SSL, and on the northbound we need to provide SSL IP, and we need to do load balancing on this IP. And this IP address needs to be translated over NAT on firewall into public IP, and then using DNS, it needs to be parsed by ratio to the carrier IP address. All of these operations that I described, in the past we would need 5 to 6 tickets, but now through one scenario-based interface, we can deliver it and invoke the atomic capabilities in orchestration. So this interface, we can use runbook to deliver to the southbound, to the devices, to deliver the configurations, and they can all be done in one go. So what that can achieve is that we can bring humans out of the process to realize agile service rollout. Because in the past, we needed different groups for LB, for LB, for DNS, for switching and firewall, etc. Different groups will receive their own tickets and handle them manually. In between, there are some dependencies, and there are some things that only run in serial mode. So one group may need the result of the previous group, for example, allocation of IP address, to be able to do their job. Therefore, to roll out one service may take up to 2 weeks. But during the process, if the IP address is put wrong, instead of 0.1, you put 0.2, then you will not notice, and it will cause a problem. But now, through scenario-based interface, all of this information is passed automatically. And if operations only run in the serial way, then they can be orchestrated. After the change is approved, it can be delivered automatically and take effect. So the key benefit is that we can improve and simplify the way we do things. First, we can improve agile service rollout efficiency and improve end-to-end O&M efficiency. We also can simplify the configuration rules and our deployment rules, and we can simplify the configuration process. For the network department, there are opportunities from digital transformation, and the network department, network teams need to rise up to the challenge from the service request to the satisfaction of those services. We need to be more proactive and facilitate digital transformation. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Xu Luning, for your wonderful speech, and also thank you for the cheers for our students who are undertaking the college entrance examination. The digitalization and the governance of cloud data centers and digital operation services for industry customers is the consistent focus of Nantian. To achieve this goal, Nantian has independently developed an intelligent platform which focuses on scenario-based DC and O&M and domain-specific models development, providing one-stop digital services throughout the IT construction lifecycle and empowering digital transformation in industries such as finance. Next, let's welcome Mr. Yang Lei, General Manager Systems, Cloud O&M Management R&D Center, Nantian. The title of his speech is Scenario-Specific O&M Digital Solutions. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great honor for me to share my thoughts on behalf of Nantian. I'm going to talk to you about scenario-specific O&M and digital solutions based on data models in the network domain. You may find the title quite mouthful, but later I will explain. First, an introduction about our company. Nantian is a state-holding company. It has been around for 52 years, serving more than 7,000 customers, and it has participated in more than 50,000 information system projects. By leveraging the latest technologies such as cloud computing, big data, AI, and blockchain, Nantian focuses on the digitalization and governance of cloud data centers and providing digital operation services for industry customers. We have also established strategic partnerships with Huawei and other leading cloud vendors and well-known IT companies to jointly develop a series of cloud AC digital service solutions, provide one-stop digital services throughout the IT construction lifecycle, and enable digital transformation in industries such as finance. Now, a quick look of the pain points and the focuses in O&M. Here I have summarized 5 points. First, changing. New architectures and technologies like cloud native lead to changes in O&M objects and modes. Second, numerous. The scale of data centers increases as services grow rapidly, resulting in more frequent rollouts and changes. Third, difficult. Large-scale traditional architecture and software-defined environment coexist, making system analysis and troubleshooting difficult. Fourth, siloed. Because of some legacy issues, a lot of systems are constructed in a siloed manner. Last but not least, scattered. Because of these information silos, the data are scattered. They are not effectively shared. To address these pain points, Nantian proposed scenario-specific O&M and digital solutions based on data models in the network domain. Here are several highlights. First, data model-driven. Second, scenario-based. And third, digitalized. So our products are focusing on the network domain. Through domain-specific data models, we build different models. In this way, we are able to quantify operation data and share them effectively. Now here are several keywords. First, data model-driven. We use data to accumulate data models for O&M scenarios in professional network domains. We use models to drive data and quantify operation data. Second, for lifecycle, it is scenario-based, covering planning, construction, delivery, O&M, and so on. Third, business scenarios and platform capabilities. We need to break down service silos, share data effectively, and adapt to multiple vendors and technologies. Fourth, end-to-end service delivery. Apart from different from traditional O&M tools, we adopt a scenario-specific approach and orchestrate operations in order to provide end-to-end services. So how do we build such a model? First, it is driven by data models, and we have also applied business knowledge. That's how we have developed a domain-specific data models. Domain-driven design, DDD. That is our methodology. So we adopt this methodology to develop domain-specific data models. First, here you can see two aggregations. The first aggregation is based on business scenarios. Through analysis and summarization of objects and incidents, there are several subdomains, for example, IP, access relationship, networking access, and load balancing. Now, they are all centering around data. So in this aggregation, data is the aggregate root. The second aggregation is the aggregation of platform capabilities, including operation, scheduling, and collection. And these subdomains are centering around configuration. So configuration is the aggregate root. And for cross-aggregation invoking, we use the aggregate roots to invoke services in different aggregations. Now, there are two ways to achieve this. First, at the top layer, that is channel, it is the portal for our products. The second layer, businesses, based on intent, we provide an end-to-end delivery entry. The third, scenarios, it's mainly about resource and management. Now, some subdomains include IP, switches, and firewalls, as well as load balancing. We use these subdomains to perform scenario-based management, and we also can use SaaS management of service processes, assets, services in order to implement monitoring and check. Fourth, platform, we can implement orchestration and scheduling, operation management, and data analysis in order to effectively share materials. Now, here are several business scenarios. Let me walk you through them one by one. First, for IP, we have IPAM. There are different phases in the life cycle. The first phase is networking planning. So the basic idea is that we try to achieve standardization so that layers can be set flexibly in order to achieve batch planning. Our end goal is to use IP to identify identity in an efficient manner. The second phase, IP address resource pool. We have a visualized dashboard to manage resources. With the dashboard, we can analyze the IP addresses, the utilization, and the status of utilization. So it offers at-a-glance information. The third phase is IP address allocation. It bundles IP addresses to services, and it can also work in synergy with external processes. The fourth phase, IP address status tracing. It is based on the periodic IP address detection capability. So we can use this feature to effectively share data. The last phase, IP address reclamation. We also use periodic detection so that we can trace back IP addresses. Second, about DC and AC. Now here you can see different scenarios in the life cycle. First, we can use the fabric and server access model to extract network architecture, and through internal capacity expansion, we are able to implement delivery. Through virtual machine online offline migration and monitoring, and one-click IMA switch on and off. We can analyze traffic of ports and analyze Fourth, that is about O&M. Now there are several features. The first one is standardized management. Based on standardized data models, we can adapt to different kinds of network architectures. Second, based on the platform's capabilities, we can minimize the impact of technical differences from different vendors. Second, we have accumulated the best practices over the past decade so that all the services support plug and play. Third, we provide a standardized northbound capability so it can be connected to external processes. And we can also use one click to import existing content. And fourth, as you can see where the arrow goes, it covers delivery, O&M, emergency response, and operations, so end to end. The next business scenario about FARA. First, we do security planning. We have net planning and address pool planning, net configuration deduction, and other kinds of management. The second layer, resource management. It is mainly about security device management and heterogeneous technology adaptation. And also, you can see the access relationship analysis. And we can also analyze the root relationship. So for the access relationship analysis, we can analyze strategies and simulate the opening and provisioning of access relationships. The fourth phase, access relationship activation. The system is connected to work tickets, so at each node, for example, requirement, the automatic verification of requirements and automatic location, we can achieve automatic generation and delivery in order to ensure end-to-end delivery. The fifth layer, access relationship maintenance. So basically, it can provide suggestions on configuration, and we can use the information to optimize policies. The last business scenario is about load balancing. So here on the top, you can see the three blue boxes. They are about internal services, including device management, device going online, and device going offline. And all the other boxes are about external services. For example, new system, new interface route administrator, capacity expansion, and parameter optimization, and all the way to service going offline. Now, I'd like to share with you two case studies in order to give you a better idea of our solution. The first case is a state-owned bank case. Here you can see the network architecture. There are several problems. They haven't deployed SDN. They still use the highly manual mode to activate network changes. The second feature is non-cloud network. While here by non-cloud, we mean that it is not connected to the cloud controllers. But in this case, Huawei NCE is deployed as the SDN controller. So with iMaster NCE, we can just provision resources and complete delivery. Third, cloud network. We have also deployed the SDN controllers through Cloud Manager. We can transfer network resource applications so that we can fast complete the configuration and delivery. Fourth, SDN. This is a joint solution developed by Huawei and Nantian, featuring on-cloud and off-cloud synergy. Huawei HCS 8.0 is deployed as the dedicated cloud. And Huawei NCE is used to associate resources on the cloud through overlay. And for after cloud, we use the we use the 19 digital platform to complete delivery of network resources and also the application for network resources. The second case is about a joint stock bank. The top layer is about channels. It supports both PC side and the mobile applications. Below that is the NCP, Network Control Platform, that is the cloud platform layer. Or you can understand it as business scenarios. This is the entry to business scenarios. And 19 is also working on this. And the layer below that about services, including data and process engines. The next layer operation, including orchestration, and the layer below that is about data collection. This is also a joint effort of Huawei and Nantian. Here you can see device delivery channels are adapted to multiple vendors, including Huawei LC, and through 19 platform, we are able to achieve device collection and backup channels adapting to multiple vendors. Okay, that's all from me. That's all about our solution. Thank you for your attention. And in the future, I hope Nantian will grow with you, and together we march into a new era of digitalized operations.
我们要感谢今天。
Thank you to Yang Lei for the great talk, and thank you to all the speakers today. Today in this IP Club Summit, we had speakers who have shared with us how Huawei's financial cloud network solution can help financial institutions to better cope with the service challenges. Huawei Datacom is committed to working with banking, insurance, securities customers together to better understand industry requirements in DCN campus network when branch interconnect and security. Together, we will build the next generation financial network infrastructure to support faster business innovations. Dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, and our friends watching online through the live stream, we will now conclude the Huawei HIFS IP Club Datacom Summit. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. We will see you next year. Please, for the guests in the room, leave the interpretation receivers in the room. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you next year. Bye-bye.